James on the line. I'm now no longer sure whether people who are calling in are who they're pretending to be, but let me nevertheless say, because this is what's written in front of me. How's it, James?
Hello?
Hello?
Hello, this is the police. I'd like to follow up on a case that I opened up 6 years ago about a stolen heart. How are you, man?
I'm good.
Jeez, what is there to say? Oh, jeez. And now at least I'm not the one laughing, huh? It's you.
I know.
But anyway, I think the best I could say is, again, also thank you. I think the outpouring love from everybody over the past 3 hours and actually the past 6 to 10 years you've been on radio.
You better tell people you are, James.
Hi. I'm Nduduzo.
So this is my boyfriend.
I'm Nduduzo from Sandown, not from Rosebank. Yeah.
It's your turn to tell the story. You may as well take a minute. Tell people how we actually met.
Why you want to put me on the line?
He's very shy, by the way, or pretends to be. But it's a good story. It just completes the circle of the last 3 hours.
No, it does, actually. So I used to be like the Nduduzo from Rosebank. We used to call in.
When I was doing Power Talk.
And long story short, we cyber stalked each other. And I came over one Sunday and never left.
Quite literally. Quite literally.
Yeah. But I think there's nothing more to add except when you get home, I'll probably have something special for you for lunch.
Thanks.
And I think you'll be amazing. And at least Agba will have you for the whole day.
Thanks,
next week.
Thanks. Thank you so much. Thanks for calling in. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Appreciate it. And thanks to the producers who've set this all up. My dad calling in and also my boyfriend. Yeah, he used to be a regular caller when I was at Power FM on Power Talk. And I just thought, who's this guy? Coconut. Must be middle class. I like middle class people. Unlike Karima. And I went to check him out on Twitter. Liked what I see. Then I stalked him. And then one day he said, I'm in Sandton. You say you're in Sandton. I said, cool, come over. He came over. Oh, within a week of him and I meeting, we moved in together. And we've been together ever since 6 years later.
So I think between myself and Zweli, it looks like he likes picking up strays, huh? So what I'd like to do is just to begin by honoring him with a poem from one of his friends, Togo Madonko. And if anybody knows Eusebius, and as much as he loved reading, he found nothing more cornier than poetry. So please bear with me. So it's titled Heart. It stopped. Last breath, last laugh, last selfie, last tweet, last thought, last. The world went silent. Old memories flood in of red wine. Fights over Biko letters of love unsaved. You checked on me when I couldn't. Told me I'm heartful when I felt heartless. Did a series of mental health with no judgment. You included me. Darling, heart, you said, knowing I'll never have learned to play chess. How patient a teacher you were, how hopeless a student I was. But you called me one of your smartest friends. You'd laugh at me now, sitting here turning my heart inside out, wishing for one more coffee date, one more argument, one more book recommendation, one more hello, darling. And that's hard. So I'll try not take up too much time, as he tells you. So it's not that I'm shy. I think I'm just a man of few words. And as one of his actually good friends, who's actually my good friend now, was saying when he was asking me this morning, have I prepared my speech, and I showed him my bullet points. He was like, "Oh my God, he is just so corporate." But anyway, I think from my side, I just would love to say to you, Eusebius, finally, I get to give you uninterrupted feedback. But in my feedback model, I won't use what the firm has to say, what the firm used to teach you. As you heard in the clip, we met. I was a media analyst for a small firm in Rosebank, and that's where I used to call in. And true to what he said, we sort of moved in almost like after a week. And I remember telling him within the second week that I thought he was my soulmate. And being the logical person he was, he told me not to be irrational. That being said, I remember our first year as well. It was one filled with many ups and many downs. And where I think where we used to fight, with one fight I remember, where he took a photo of me. And I remember, just also as a caveat, it was December, it was like 35 degrees, and I was reading, but I made the poor mistake of falling asleep while reading Baldwin. And to this day, I don't think I've ever been forgiven. And thereafter that, with year after year, and anybody who's been close to Eusebius would know, he didn't really love celebrating birthdays or Christmas. And unfortunately, that's a fundamental part of my life. And it's not because I'm really religious, because ironically I'm not, but it's because I believe in celebrating moments. And it's one of the things, as many people who've come before have been saying, he allowed. And in him allowing it, I think what it did was open himself up. And that's how I knew and came to love his vulnerable side, and which I came to appreciate. And as you all know from the stubbornness, within that first year as well, one of the biggest shocks of my life as well. And I think, to Reddy's point, this is only middle class or affluent people act like this. I think we had been dating for 3 months, and he quit at Power. And for the life of me, I'm like, what are you going to do for money, bruh? And he was just like, no, don't worry. But what I found really remarkable was, even in that low point, I wouldn't even call it a low point, but in that trying time, he still found time to help his sister with her wedding. And that was, I think, the first time I was also introduced to the Makeza family and the Stevens family. And I can proudly say, I know that where that love comes from is what actually made him. And one more thing, I think, from one of the downs, is from people who also know him, is I can proudly say, as of last month, he's already one-upped me in terms of losing cell phones. And anybody who knows him and his relationship with Melville, they'd know every Sunday morning he'd be up at Vodacom with a hangover, asking them for a new cell phone, and they'd more than like lovely obliged. But then there's also the ups, and I think with the ups, again, it resonates back to you, Vugani, and Joanne and Reddy, is the gossiping, right? And I guess with me, I got the pleasure of having the pillow talk. So, but I think you can rest assured, as you mentioned, I'm not the kind of person to spread the word, even though I also have access to his DMs now. But most importantly, I think for me with the ups, what I'll miss the most are our Sunday nights and our rituals. As spontaneous of a person as he was, I always knew he always wanted, even if after visiting my family on a Sunday, he'd always want to rush home to watch Date My Family or Idols, or and we had Jola 99. It was literally a marathon. And if I hadn't cooked, it would be followed by Uber eating, many desserts. And as anybody who knows Closum will tell you, he'd always have the excuse, diets start on a Monday. So I'll miss those. I'll miss his cheesy music, 80s love of 80s music, and I think most importantly, and I think what I'll miss is knowing I had somebody who loved fully, who gave of himself fully, and I think that's where one of his greatest sayings in terms of authenticity comes from. And I think you could spot an inauthentic person a mile away. I mean, thinking about some of the people he'd skinner about in the media, it was literally about that. He would literally always say, as a caveated by how brilliant they were, was how they are not literally giving of themselves. And that is the reason why their ratings are so low. But what I'll also miss, I think that will break my heart the most, is I'll miss walking in from work and not seeing him on that couch on his phone. As anybody who knows him, he was glued to that phone. I'll miss his voice notes. I'll miss him walking around the house recording voice notes for somebody else. And most importantly, I think I'll miss that hello babe, because I think the one time, anytime I knew he was either angry or irritated with me, I would always hear my name, Nduduzo. But 90% of the time, I was always babe. And within that, I'd like to just close off by thanking not only his friends, everybody here, his family, his mentees, Oliver especially, and his supporters, because as it already says, he doesn't like the word fans. And everybody who used to work and who used to, with the restaurants we used to frequent, from his mayoral title at Tasha's to Naked, Just Titties, Fat Zebras, and Poppies, obviously. And what I want to do is just make a short promise to him. I promise to always be my authentic self, to try and live as fully and love as honestly as you do. I promise to continue reading books, including the New York Times and Times Live subscriptions. I'll continue doing right by you and immortalizing you and never forgetting you. But most importantly, I promise to never accept mediocrity, because that is who you were. Thank you.
The mists have gone. We see